We should take these two questions. We're 30
Let's
minutes
go.
in. All right. Um, we'll start with BR. So BR and Pranav last week on the mailbag submitted questions that required us to spend a little bit more time on those two specific questions. So we decided, hey, this week we're not going to ask for questions. We're just going to address those ones and and take our time with it. So BR's question is this. Hi, Keon and Diego. Hope you and your families are healthy and well. Can you guys do a quick hot take crossfire where each of you bring 3 hot takes about the rival club? Take turns dropping them, but you only get 60 seconds to defend your take. The other gets 60 seconds to fire back. No rambling, fast, spicy churros. The question, Diego, was, are we going to do this properly, or are we going to argue for 10 minutes for each question, or are we actually going to put a 60-second time limit?
I'm putting a time limit, man. That's what the
Okay. Can you be in
question
charge of the
demands.
time limit? Because my
Yes,
phone
sir.
is my camera. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to start with your hot take?
Uh, I can start or you start so I get an idea of keeping time, but whatever you want.
Sure, I'll start.
Okay.
My first hot take. Um,
Tell me when I should start the clock, I guess.
okay, after I finish saying it, I'll say start the clock.
Vale, vale.
All right. My first hot take is that Barca don't play beautiful football. It's a myth. It's been fabricated. It's a PR push. I think they played quote unquote beautiful football maybe once or twice in the past 30 years in a couple different eras. And the rest we've been basically forced to believe that this is the correct way to play football. I think the Ernesto
Bueno,
Valverde.
you
I'm not.
starting?
Yeah, hold on. You haven't started. It hasn't started yet. I got to finish
No,
my
no,
thought. What?
this is starting. I should start the clock.
No, you start the clock when it's your turn to answer. You have 60 seconds to respond.
No,
That's how
you
it
you
works.
have 60 seconds to make your point.
Well, it hasn't been 60 seconds yet.
I know,
I've
but
been
I asked you. I
I've
was
been
like, tell
talking
me
for
when.
like 20
I said,
seconds.
tell me when to start the clock. You were like, well, hold on.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Start
start the
again.
clock. All right,
Start the
start the
clock.
clock.
Ready? Go.
My first hot take is that Barca don't play beautiful football like we've been told. Um, can you put that down? It's a little distracting. uh, I think the Ernesto Valverde era was an eyesore. I think the Kike Setien era was an eyesore. I think pretty much everything in between, apart from 2 eras, 2015 and then the Pep era, was not this beautiful football that we were told it was. And we just get gaslighted every day in that this is the correct way to play football. Doesn't matter if you win trophies or not. This is how you have to play. And I don't think it's beautiful. You can stop the clock. And now start it for your answer.
I love the fact that you point out Valverde and Quique Setien as sort of the poster boys or models of playing or the beautiful football that was played in Barca throughout its time. Obviously, when people talk about Barca playing beautiful football, they relate that to Cruyffism. They relate that to Football Total. They relate that to the 90s. Obviously, Pep was the disciple, but Frank Rijkaard implemented that as well. And it's all about the philosophy of making football an offensive, attractive game where the focus is on scoring goals as opposed to winning by any means, specifically using defensive tactics. It's all about scoring one more goal than the opponent. And right now, Hansi Flick is taking that to the next level, going old school, going football total. Barca are the standard that many, many, many other clubs want to meet and also
It's been 70
fall in love
seconds.
with. I'm using up your time because you only went 45 seconds. So.
You've played that brand of football twice since I've been alive.
You
Pep.
don't get to rebuttal. That's it. My man, my man. Quique Setien and
Wait, do I
Valverde.
get a rebuttal or not? It's not
I
just
guess.
Setien, Koeman, Valverde.
literally our worst coaches in history. Okay, in recent history, yes.
Since
That's
Cruyff.
why. That's
Since
why.
Cruyff. Louis Van Gaal. Nope.
Yeah,
Carlos
yeah.
Rizak.
Louis played a lot better than what people give him credit for. With Louis, it
I
had
was
a
alive
lot.
for that era. Don't do this to me. I saw that era with my own eyes. This was a UEFA Cup team. Don't even.
No, no, no. Dude, we won. What was it? Two league titles and the Copa del Rey, I believe it was. It
Wow.
wasn't that bad as many people
And you were
say.
in the Euro and you were in the what was it called then? UEFA.
No, 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 no. That was.
You were a borderline UEFA team. You needed the Rivaldo hat trick against Valencia to make sure you get to the Champions League.
Listen, in
It's happened
recent
in two
history,
eras since Cruyff, and we've
my
been
man,
made to think this is just how Barca play. When
my man.
and don't bring Flick into this. He's getting annihilated right now. I
What are
want.
you talking about?
Let's
We're
talk
2 points adrift.
Second season Flick.
Nah, nah, nah,
At the
nah,
end of
nah.
the season, then you can tell me whether you play beautiful football or not. But you can admit right now you're not playing beautiful football. That's for sure.
Well, I can admit that we're league champions and Copa champions, and that half of our team are injured, and that things are right now not peaking. I can admit to
Mhm.
that.
All right, your turn.
All right. So I have to time keep myself. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So my take is going to be on Real Madrid's 15 Champions League titles and how it is overhyped propaganda. Okay. You strip away the shady origins and the controversies, and you're left with maybe five. That's not me saying that. That is the reputable organization, the IFFHS report. The European Cup, you said it yourself at the beginning of the podcast, was invented by your boy Santiago Bernabeu, 1955. He was Real Madrid's president and also a Franco loyalist, in fact, a hero for the fascist army that started a coup using the regime ties to build a club into a symbol of centralized power. He literally handpicked random teams from Europe, not even the best, for the first editions, stacking the deck in their favor. Now you fast forward, and all their runs have literally been littered with illegal offside goals, dodgy red cards for opponents, and a record, mind you, 68 penalties scored, the most in Champions League history. You talk about favoritism in La Liga, it's the same in Europe. And as for that IFFH report, well, they said if VAR existed from the start, Madrid drops to 5 titles, whereas Barca would raise to 7. Stats don't lie, my friend. Your kings of Europe are overglorified and have been an advantage from the start.
Bullshit, and you know it. It's the biggest cope that any anti-Madridista comes up with
Oh,
because no,
hold
boy,
on,
I
one
guess
minute.
my rebuttal. It's my
One
rebuttal.
minute.
It's my
One
rebuttal.
minute. 1 minute. Again, let me set
You
the
were
time.
past 1 minute.
It's fine. Go.
Sorry, BR. I guess we're not playing by the rules.
What are you talking about? Let me set the time. Go. Go, go, go.
It is anti-Madridista propaganda. It is basically the way of coping for the teams that don't win the Champions League titles. Anytime someone brings up Madrid with offside goals or penalties or whatever, they never, ever, ever bring up all the times Real Madrid were screwed. I've seen some of the compilations that people put out about Real Madrid in the Champions League and getting getting benefited. A lot of those games, Real Madrid didn't even win the Champions League those years. If you go through it, there is a huge compilation you can make of 2018, 2017, 2016, 2014 of times Madrid got screwed by the referee, but we don't bring those up. Talking about Barca with 7 Champions League titles when you shouldn't have even won the one that you won with the scandals you had is embarrassing. Please don't bring Barca into any conversation with the Champions League. You want to talk about Milan, Liverpool, fine, but do not shoehorn Barca into any of this. 1 minute. Is it my turn? This is actually a good
Your turn.
transition.
Your turn. Your turn.
Good transition. Uh, okay. You want to start the clock?
Yeah.
This is not a hot take. I don't even need the 60 seconds. The example you brought up is the perfect segue because Barcelona and its fans are ultimate gaslighters when it comes to talking about the referee. What happened in the Negreira case in those 18 years is one of the most shameful things and doesn't get talked about enough. You bringing up penalty stats that when it's convenient for you, you gaslighted us this entire year about Real Madrid penalties. We've only had one more penalty than Barcelona this season. And yep, it's a true fact. Look it up. And the penalty statistics in favor of Barca in those 18 years are so embarrassingly in favor of Barcelona that it's just an insult to even be gaslighted for anything. Go for it.
That is statistically not true. Penalties during the Negreda era still were in favor for Real Madrid. That is stats. No misinformation or please or false information. Now, okay. I'm gonna be talking about this was usually going to be my last take, but since you brought it up, the refereeing system favoring for Real Madrid while Madrid continue to cry the loudest and the most. Okay. Since its inception, Real Madrid have enjoyed being favored by the referees and the governing bodies that run football the most. They did so in La Liga by having members of their club, fans, or ex players join La Liga, join the refereeing committee, preside as well over the Spanish Football Federation. All of these having direct ties to the club. Look at the facts. Do not ignore them. The most blatant one, you talk about 18 years of Negreira, was the 18 years where the ex-Madrid youth player Jose Plaza ran the CTA and openly, infamously swore that Barca wouldn't win a league while he was in charge. Well, we didn't. Thanks to his blatant bias. Refs have gone on record talking about receiving gold watches, phone pressures, and demotions for unfavorable calls for Real Madrid, and Perez even visiting the locker rooms to intimidate referees. Real admissions here, not hypotheticals like the Negreira case, where no proof exists other than disloyal business administration. That's not me saying that. That is the courts, my friend.
Okay, I'm not even sure what what I'm responding to because I didn't really understand.
Well, that Real Madrid have been benefited and have had ties in the governing bodies surrounding football since its inception. Penalties, my friend, have always gone in your favor, even during the Greda case. I beg you to watch the video that I put out. Don't put out misinformation saying that during the Negreda era, Barca received more penalties because that is statistically not true. You can bring up maybe the red cards, the yellow cards, also there. After doing research, it seems that most of those happened during the last 10 minutes of the game. And I find that such a stretch, such a reach to talk about like we're paying off referees to give out yellow and red cards. Bro, give me a penalty at any day of the week. Any day of the week.
How many penalties did Barcelona receive during the Negreira era? Do you know?
I have the stats somewhere. I cannot pull it up on the top of my head. No.
So I have been secretly working on a video
Ah.
going through um uh going through the entire Negreira era just to do my own research and my own due diligence.
I can send you the
And
stats. You should have asked me.
no, I'm going through every game in 18 years. And
Stop.
I'm not kidding. And I'm making a spreadsheet. And
Bro,
it's
you will not
so
like the outcome.
so far it's disgusting how much Barca were favored. No, I'm telling
Stop.
you, and I'm gonna release this
I
video.
don't even, bro. I cannot take your word for that. As if you would look at Madrid games with the same scrutiny. No, no,
I'm
no.
actually going through the times Madrid got favored as well and tallying it up. And it's not looking good at all. I'm doing
Because it's
both.
just that's your
I'm doing both.
opinion,
I'm
bro.
doing
We
both.
we are starting a spreadsheet. We tried to start a spreadsheet, trying to make it the most fair by having different opinions. It cannot just be based on your opinion.
No, I'm going based on how about this? You can look at the video You can
Mhm.
go through and look at all the facts, and then you can make your own video rebuttal.
Yeah, but
In
those are
the end,
your facts.
you're okay with you doing a video, but I'm not allowed to do a video now. What does
No,
that
of
mean?
course I want you to do a video, but just
Okay.
know that it's slanted and hugely biased towards your side.
And so yours won't be.
Well, I'm sure it will. Like, but
Okay.
hey, the
So then
facts
we're
speak
both.
for
So
themselves.
this is so we'll
In
both be
terms of
biased. Is that fair?
penalties, yeah, sure. Definitely fair. I'll sign up to that. But right now, as it stands, penalty wise, Madrid were still favored the most during that
Uh,
era as
Not
well.
penalties. No, Barcelona's.
Penalties were favored.
Barcelona has the penalty discrepancy is Barcelona. You've seen it, right? Literally, Barcelona has a plus 65 penalty difference in the 21st century. It's the most of anyone in La Liga. Real Sociedad second at plus 43, Athletic plus 18 at third,
Show me
Villarreal
those
plus
facts,
16,
bro.
Real Madrid -2 penalty
No,
discrepancy.
those are red cards. You're confusing that with the red card statistic that Real Madrid TV put out. That's
The
red
red
card.
cards.
That's red cards, bro. That's red cards. You're confusing that with red cards. Trust me, my
You're
friend.
correct. You're correct. You're correct. So Barcelona have a plus 68 balance of penalties during that era. I'm trying to find the Real Madrid one because as far as I remember, that was also the most during that time period.
Mm-mm. The video is out. I can try to pull it up, but I don't think it's in the interest of our viewers here if we now go through our databases of stats. I'm happy to do it, but I suggest we continue pushing forward with the next hot take.
Was that your third or second?
That was the second. We're on to the last one.
Okay. Is it my turn or your turn?
Your turn, buddy.
Are you sure?
Hmm.
Okay. My third hot take is that I think Barcelona don't respect the history and greatness of other teams enough.
Barça or
And,
Barça fan?
mm, I think they're all connected. It's one big circus.
Okay, ready, go. 60 seconds start now.
Um, there's not enough PR in the world that can combat the fact that, factually speaking, the greatest homegrown team in La Liga history was Real Madrid's 5 back-to-back titles in the 80s with Quinta del Buitre. And the only thing we hear is that the greatest generation was Barca during that time frame, and that everyone was, built and stuff from the youth system, and we never. It's just I feel like the timeline is always whatever Barca fans want. So when we talk about Barca's identity, oh, it starts with Cruyff. Whatever happened before Cruyff, that's not us. We don't know what that was. We didn't play beautiful football for the first 50 years of our club's existence. We talk about the Pep era and this, and it just gets magnified to the whole Barca history. And the greatest Spanish homegrown team of all time is Real Madrid's Quinta de Buitre, and we don't have the PR for it.
I love this Barça PR narrative when we literally have the most powerful man in Spain on audio talking about how he will manipulate and put in place his Muppets and puppets at the most important media outlets. We have journalists openly talking about receiving pressures from suiting his narrative, that of Florentino Perez, to only put out positive news about Real Madrid. And in terms of the Quinta de Buitre not being talked about enough, it took place, those 5 back-to-back league titles, in the era of Jose Plaza. Again, the man that openly vowed that Barca would never win a league title during his reign, and it didn't happen. My question to you, Kian, is what did that team achieve internationally? What did Spain achieve internationally The answer is simple. It's nothing.
So your way to belittle Quinta de Buitre is to say Jose Plaza was in charge at that time and they didn't have international success.
That's what I said in a minute.
So when we look at Barca's success in Europe, is it do we not look at Barca's success in Europe?
What do you mean?
Like
You're
that?
trying to insinuate that a vice president, one of three that had no power, had somehow magically influenced also Barca on a European stage where we started to win European titles?
No, I'm saying that we never bring up the lack of Barca's European success,
Hmm. Hmm.
but we discuss their greatness. But we
It,
can't
it,
do that with Quinta de
po-
Buitre.
post Cruyff era, not really. The
I don't know.
reason why people talk about, Barca style of play, the DNA, and even that is, there's a big fracture. I mean, it's quite polarizing if you talk to hardcore Barca fans that don't want to attribute that much success to Johan Cruyff and talk about, the history of Barca and how we should look further back and how not all of the greatness should be attributed to, just one man implementing his philosophy. But I can admit or assume that internationally, and especially nowadays, most of the public perception of Barca is based on what happened, after the 1990s. Sure, sure.
There's just a lot of double standards here. You realize that, right?
How?
You can say that
Like
it's
the
not.
thing is, let me say this for coaches, and I think you'll agree with me. People that know far more about the game than you and me, players, coaches, philosophers of the game, to talk about Cruyff as this masterful both player and coach and try to emulate that. They learn from that. They see it as a kind of, a teacher again, and disciple type scenario. Yeah, you don't hear about that during the Quinta de Buitre because what has that team to show for itself other than el espíritu de Juanito, which was basically hack your motherfucking opponent down to the ground, stomp on their face like we saw with, was it Lothar Mateus or I forget who it was. Like it was ugly ass football, man. It wasn't like football that coaches try to teach the kids and be like, this is how you play football, And I'm not
Hold on,
saying that's
hold
the
on,
only style of football.
hold on, hold. This is a ridiculous take.
No, it's not.
No, you hold on. I went back and I watched Barca play in the 80s and Real Madrid play in the 80s, and I can tell
Hmm.
you that Quinta de Buitre team played way more beautiful football than that Cruyff team. That Cruyff team, go watch the Copa del Rey final between
Cruyff
Real Madrid
wasn't
and
in.
Barcelona, the ugliest low block, kicking the shit out of Real Madrid, who dominated possession in that game.
Clive didn't take over until like 89 or something. I'm not saying that during the 80s, Barca played amazing football. You know, definitely not.
You know that Johan Cruyff was on
There
the
was a before and after.
Johan Cruyff was on the
Mm.
verge of getting fired for playing shit
Hmm.
football in that
Hmm.
in the Copa
Not
del
getting the
Rey
result.
against Real Madrid. He played a
Hmm.
low block to save his ass
Mm.
and
Mm.
played disgusting football. And because he won that game playing disgusting football, they didn't fire him. This is what I'm talking about, PR. This is what I'm talking about. It's just bullshit PR.
So your sample size is one game as opposed to a legacy.
My sample size is talking more about rewriting history. Barca fans rewrote history. They don't listen to me. I'm going back to my point about double standards. You said that Barca can be, I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what you implied, that Barca can be excused for the lack of European success because of the referee. But we can't say that during the Negreira era. When you go and watch those Clásicos,
No,
the amount
because
of
we weren't
times that we
bribing
were robbed
referees.
in those Clásicos. And
No,
by the way, talking
not
about
true.
Europe, you want to talk about the robberies in the Champions League Clásico too? You want to talk about those? And don't
What are
shake
you
your head.
talking about,
Don't
bro? That is nonsense.
new
Nonsense.
exercise. Me and you will go through and watch every single Clásico in the Negrera era, and you will
Love
be
to.
dumbfounded, and you will just sit there jaw agape because you won't be able to gaslight us anymore if we watch it together because the evidence
Disagree.
will be there. And I've done this
Strongly
already, so I'm happy to do it again with you.
dis-
It's
Let's do it.
gross.
Strongly
It's
disagree, my friend.
gross. No, it's
And
not
again,
disagree. It's a
you're
fact.
you're you're
Gross.
insinuating that Negreira's power, a man that had none, was so great, so grand
No,
that he
no,
had
it's
an
already
influence
been
on the European
confirmed. It's
stage.
already been confirmed that he had power over appointing referees. That's been confirmed.
No, no,
Yes, it
it
has.
has
In
not.
court, it's
That
been
that is
confirmed.
misinformation. That
No,
has
it's
not
not.
been confirmed. It
It has
has.
been.
Yeah, my friend, please
No, this
stay
has
in
been
touch.
confirmed.
Stay up to date. No, no, no. That is
I
false. That
think
is false.
Barca were very smart about doing this because they know there can never be proven causation. But you
No,
tell me, as an unbiased Barca fan, bro, you tell me, why are Barca paying the was it the vice president or the president?
device.
Vice
Yes,
president.
one of three.
Why are they paying him? Please tell me. And
Disloyal
if it,
business administration. It is more down to money laundering, okay,
so,
than
there is
to
something
actual
shady
bribery.
regardless. You agree to that?
I don't like that. Yeah, absolutely. I've always said that. It's awful. Corruption. It shouldn't take place, but it's not the same as bribery. It's not the same as match fixing. Okay, we have referees come out talking about gold watches, talking about phone calls, receiving pressures, visits, uh, 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 getting demoted for calling games not in favor of Real Madrid. That is actually public information is out there. No referee has come out and said that they have received money from Football Club
Of
Barcelona
course
to
they wouldn't,
bribe him
because
out.
then they'll be thrown in jail.
No, but I just told you that there are referees that have come out to talk about receiving gifts and pressures and everything from Real Madrid. That is
Yeah,
public information.
bro. And by the way, we recorded a podcast about this after the Negrera's son was in court, and you said this is not true. We can't get it leaked. He literally had an interview like a week later confirming what he said was true. That
And
he did
what did
not.
he say?
That basically confirming what was leaked that day, and we were like, we have to wait and see what he said.
Still
But
doesn't prove bribery. So he distanced himself. He doesn't want to end up in jail or in hot water for having being part of this money laundering, most likely, or let's call it unloyal business practices, administration, whatever you want to call it, scheme that had been in place for far too long. That I think individuals should have to pay for, but not the club, because we were not favored. We lost 3 leagues. Like we should have been winning like during the Jose Plata era, just league after league. That didn't happen.
so you're
But bro,
saying that your
listen,
team was good enough
hold
to
on. Can I
compete
just
with
say?
Quinta
Can
del
I just
Buitre during that era? Is that what you're saying?
Kian? Can I just say
Hold on,
you're
hold on,
now?
hold on.
No, no,
But
no.
do you really believe that? Do you think your team
What?
was on the level of Quinta del Buitre if you had the referee on your side?
Well, we didn't have the referee on our side,
I'm
and do
saying
I
if
think
you
that
think
my
that
team
team was good enough
played
to beat
better?
Quinta del Buitre.
Of course, I think that it was the greatest team ever assembled. You think that's crazy? You think that Quinte de Buitre would like be
What?
deemed better than
Barcelona
Pep
in the
Guardiola's
80s was the
Barca?
greatest team ever assembled? What?
No, no, you're comparing to my greatest team during the
No,
during
you're
the
saying
Negreda era.
if you're saying the Quinta del Buitre won those 5 titles because of the referee.
No, I think there was an 18-year period where Jose Plaza, again, infamously stated, openly stated that Barca will not win a title during his reign, and he made that come true. You talk to Real Sociedad, he made sure that they didn't win either through very dodgy circumstances. You talk to referees that openly have come out during that era talking about receiving phone calls, receiving pressures, receiving gifts. This is all documented, my friend. I wish that you would spend some time to actually investigate that with more seriousness, with
Sure,
more
I'm happy to.
rigor.
I'm happy to. I
I
can
don't
only
know if
do
you
one.
are. I don't
No, no,
know
I
if you
am.
are.
I can only do one thing at a time. I'm working on the Negrera thing for the 18 years because that's one's under investigation.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's what I'm working on. After that, I'll
Can't
go
wait.
back. I'm happy to go back in time. I'm happy to.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Now,
happy to.
Kian, we, our patron, asked for no fluff, no blabbing. just 60 seconds apiece. We've gone on for a bit too long, I think.
Okay, I think you have one more hot take, right?
Final hot take, and then we got to do the starting 11. And in the meantime, the kiddos are back, and I got to cook up some dinner. But yo, my final take here, my friend.
Go for it.
Florentino Perez. It's time to shed a light on his reign. And in my opinion, he's been treating Spain as his personal ATM. And let me tell you why. Okay, the endless land reclassifications, the custom laws like the Mbappé tax break, the noise exemptions from illegal concerts, and the state aid to fund the Galacticos to grow an empire. His playbook has been simple, Kian. It's lobby, pressure politicians and journalists for favors or fear. In 2001, Jose Maria Aznar, the president of Spain, the prime minister of Spain, backed the land reclassification, selling training grounds for the famous torres, now the towers, to clear the debt of the Galacticos. And they went on to buy Figos and Ronaldos and Zizous, with Jose Maria Garcia, renowned Madridista journalist at the time, admitting that they got strict instructions to quote unquote help Real Madrid. It was scrutinized by the EU as a state aid at the time. Now we fast forward now, Ayuso is doing the exact same things, tweaking the laws for the Bernabeu and licensed concerts, ignoring the 90 plus decibel complaints, literally torturing neighbors. Then the Mbappé law, 20% tax reductions for rich foreigners, from 45 to 24.5, tailor-made for stars like him. It's literally called the Mbappé law. And now Almeida and Ayuso also reclassifying the 850,000 square meter Valdebebas for Pedres, 8.5 billion innovation center. My friend, it's a minute and a half where we're going from sports lands to offices. It's another apple, let's say, that is falling from the sky. Barça, in the meantime, we're bootstrapped. We're building from within. Contra todo y todos, my friend.
Okay, well, Barca, it's my turn if you want to set the timer,
Yes,
even though
yes, yes.
you had like 8 minutes. Uh,
Minute
Barca
20.
are bootstrapped because of their own negligence and terrible financial planning. They dug their own grave. Has nothing to do with Real Madrid or the city. The selling of the training grounds in the turn of the century, completely legal. Real Madrid has been in a war with the city council since 2016. Recently, they had to go all the way to the European Commission to um, win a legal battle, which the city was fighting them on, and they won that in September. Uh, and this was a situation where the city council accused Real Madrid of receiving state aid in 2011, where they had to pay 20 million euros. European Commission stepped in and finally ruled in Real Madrid's favor. So obviously, the city and Real Madrid are not in this situation where Real Madrid are getting favored. The noise stadium decibels, that is a part of negligence from Real Madrid, and they haven't been allowed to do concerts. So the city is not helping with that actually, they actually asked them to shut it down and fix the issue. So I don't know where favoritism
Ayuso is
gets
changing the
involved there.
laws. Again, rigor, journalistic rigor, please.
I mean, changing the laws, I haven't seen that, but I do know that Real Madrid are spending a couple 100 million extra due to their own poor negligence or planning or figuring that out. I'm sure they don't want to spend that extra 200 million. Um, that said, there was something else ridiculous that you said, but I can't remember what it was
It
now.
wasn't ridiculous.
It was all nonsense. It was
Man,
all
I
nonsense.
think it's 3 from 3. I want the churros audience here to, of course, decide, knowing which side most of you are on. But hey, I think it's a clear knockout. I'm pretty happy. I think we should do
Sure.
this regularly.
I'm Listen, man. I'm happy if it makes you sleep better tonight. I'm happy for you. You knocked it up, bro. You knocked it
Yeah,
up.
and for real though, we got to move on because we got a last question that we need to answer,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
this was a fun one as well. How time flies when you're
Where
having
is it?
fun, eh? Listen,
Uh,
I really gotta go.
yeah, yeah. Go, go.
This was fun.
It was fun. Thanks for your questions, Pranav and BR, and thank you for tuning in, Paulo, live on the call. You stayed the whole time, man. That's impressive. I'm glad to have you here. And if you guys listening, you want to tune in live,
I'm coming.
that's the $20 tier. Thanks, Diego. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Peace
Cheers.
out.
Peace out.